to my channel. It's me, Casey Renee, and if you're new here, welcome. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Today's hairstyle is a braided half up, half down, curly look, my bob. What I was supposed to do last time, but I ended up doing a ponytail top. It's a new day. Don't come for me. So yeah, I did a sew-in today because I've been working out and I don't want the quick weave to be sliding off my head. So this is a sew-in in the back, and then I did braids in the front. Typically, I like really long hair. I don't know what this mid-length hair is doing for me. I love it though. Maybe it's like I'm in my mom era. I don't know. But I be missing a bust down middle part sometimes. But anyway, yeah, so here is the final look. Keep watching if you want to see how I got this look. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So we're going to be doing a half up, half down again. I'm gonna do braids in the front and probably a sew-in in the back, because I've been trying to work out and a quick weave is just not gonna cut it. Like, I don't want that thing sliding off the back of my head for real, because I sweat in my head. So yeah, let's just get right into the video. I think I know what braid pattern I'm gonna do, but you listen, this is the first. Y'all doing it with me. If we make a change in the middle of the video, I don't know what to tell you, okay? But I'm gonna part this front section out, and then I'm gonna braid my sew-in section first, just so I can get all that hair out the way, and then I'll start my braids in the front. So to do my braid down in the back, I think because I can't really see, I'm gonna just split this top part in so I can have an anchor braid across here, and then just do straight down. So now that I'm done with my two anchor braids, I don't really care if they're not perfect, just because, I mean, the tracks is gonna go over it. It's my head, ain't nobody gonna see that. I'm going to just go through the middle and do a couple straight backs, and then lift this part of the braid up into the next braid. And yeah, I'll just continue doing that, and then we'll get into the other part, the front part of my hairstyle. again, like I said, this is my head. Ain't nobody gonna see it. I'm gonna use a net. So I'm not gonna waste time putting 10 braids in the back of my head. Just not gonna do it. But anyway, so now I'm just gonna get the cap, put it over it, and I'm using the cap, I mean not the cap, the net, so that the tension from the sewing won't be on my hair, because I have been having a little breakage, a little damage on my hair. So I'm gonna use that to sew the hair into my head with the net. Make sense? Makes sense. All right. So this is the only net I found. I thought I had more, but I don't. So I'm gonna just put this over my head and sew it to the back. And that's just gonna be that. And then I'll cut the excess off. And I'm doing all this first, the back first, because when I braid the front, I don't want, if I braided the front, then the loose pieces from the front will be in my way to do the back. So I'm gonna do all this part first and probably sew the back down too, and then do the braids in the front. Yeah. So I'm gonna use my anchor braid at the top to start this sewing the cap down, and then I'm gonna go all the way around the perimeter and just connect it to the bottom of my braids down here. When I'm sewing, I like to put the needle in and make sure the needle is in between this piece of thread that's in front of it and what's connected to the end. So it'll give me a knot whenever I pull it through. A lot of people I see like to wrap it around, but that never works for me. And I always get it stuck and it like knots it and I can't get the dang knot out. So I just do make sure that it's in between the two pieces of thread, and that way it pulls it in a knot, and then it's laying flat and it's connected to the previous so it doesn't come out. And I left my little beady beads out so I won't have any pulling or bumps down there later on. My bottom row is gonna be a little spaced out because of how many braids I have across, but they're pretty close together because I did the loop around. Then it's giving me a little bit of space across the back of my head, so that way I can have something to anchor this the thread to. The loose cap part off. I'm not gonna cut too close because I don't want it to come off. Ooh. And that's what we got. So the hair I'm using, I got off Amazon. I used it last time. I don't know if I still have the pack or, but I'll try to insert a picture if I still have a picture of it. But it's just some curly hair, low maintenance. I don't have to do nothing to it. Maybe wet it, put some conditioner on it. And for me, that's probably pushing it because I'm not doing nothing to no hair, okay? We have some old hair that I dyed blonde on the ends. I washed it and brushed it out. It looked crazy, but I'm gonna put some water and conditioner on it. And then this is the hair that I got off of Amazon. I'll try to link it below if I remember. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start sewing this in my head, okay? And so what I'm gonna do is lay the first couple tracks probably until I get right up into my ear pretty straight. And then once I get up here where my part is, then I'm gonna start giving it a slight curl so that I can hide my tracks. I'm just gonna double up the wefts in the back, or should I single weft it? I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna just curve this first one up until my ear, and then below my the braid at my nape. Yeah, and then that'll be one, and then I'll just go straight across that. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. We ain't got all day. And typically I like to take multiple needles and threads and just go ahead and thread a bunch of them, maybe at least 3, depending on how much hair I'm sewing, so that I don't have to waste time rethreading in the middle of the hairstyle. So first, I like to take the end of the 2 pieces, the double weft, and stick my needle through it so that they can stay together. If you get too close to the end, then it's gonna split, so just don't get too close to the end. I don't know if you can see that. And I like to start on my right side. So I'm gonna lay, and like I said, I'm gonna start where at the top of my ear, and then go underneath this first braid just to connect my hair, the hair to my braid. So because it's attached to the weft, it's attached to my braid without me even doing like the knot process. So for this whole track, I'm gonna go up underneath these braids in the back, just so it'll hide the braids. Oh. And you want to hold it so it doesn't move, because it just moved on me. But I'm just going to go underneath the braid. And like I said, make sure it's in between the 2 pieces of thread. And just hold that track in place. And just take your time. I find I mess up a lot because I just be rushing, trying to get stuff done. And it's like, girl, just calm down, slow down. But I'll just be trying to, I'll be in a rush, okay? I ain't got all day. I got stuff to do, kids to feed. Like, it's just, everything is a race. And I'm trying to get better at like having slow mornings and not rushing, because I realize I be rushing my kids too, and they gonna have anxiety because of me, because the way I be rushing them, it is not even that serious. Like, calm down, girl. We'll be there. We'll be there. So I'm gonna just keep coming over here until I get to the top of my ear, and then I'm gonna fold it over. I'll be using this hair sometimes for ponytails when I'm lazy and don't really feel like doing my hair. So I'm not gonna cut it because I want the full length of the weft, like I said, so I can make my ponytails whenever I don't have any hair ideas or whatever. I don't got time to do my hair. So yeah, depending on what side of the head I'm on, I'll be struggling trying to get clearly the left side for me is nuts. But pull that tight, make sure no hairs are stuck. And then when I do my flip over, I like to put the needle through so before I'm not putting it through the weft, I'm just putting it underneath the weft in the braid. So when I'm doing the flip over part, I like to lay this part as flat as I can and stick my needle through the weft and then into the braid so it'll anchor it down. And then when I flip the weft, I'll do another one in the crease of the flip through the weft to anchor that down, and then continue to go under or above the weft into the braid, if that makes sense. I'll try to show you as best I can. I know it's a video, so it's like, but wherever I want that weft to stop, I'm going to, I can't really see. I'm gonna just poke it through, and try not to poke yourself. Poke it through the thread and then into the braid. So it'll anchor it and it's not moving. See how it's not even sliding down how it was a second ago? And then I'll just go ahead and loop it again underneath though, but not, I won't go through the weft. I'm just going underneath and then under the braid. And then I'm doing make sure it's in between the two, loop it. And now it's gonna stay. And now I'm going to flip the weft over and go into the corner of this weft, go through the weft with my needle and then into my braid and continue. So I'm going through both of the wefts and through my braid, do my knot situation. That way it's not bulky and poking out in my sew-in. And then I'm just going to continue to go through the bottom of the weft under my braid. And that's what my anchor braid is for, so that whenever I need to go through a braid or anchor the hair into something, I have that anchor braid. And most of the time you want to do an anchor braid on the perimeter so that you, because that's where you need your braid to be anchored to, is the perimeter. And I'm going underneath right here just because that's what's easier for me. And I normally probably on the right side I go above, but it kind of just depends. Again, this is your head, so do what makes you comfortable. If I was doing it on somebody else, I probably would go underneath and then at the top go over the top so that the track will lay flat on the top of that anchor braid, so it won't be so bulky. Even how I hold my hands depending on what part of the hair I'm on is crazy. And it'd probably be best if you had like one of those 3 hanging door mirrors, but I just feel my way through stuff. It ain't that serious, like. Alright, so now that I'm on this side, I'm going to also put the thread through, the needle through both wefts and anchor it to my anchor braid, and then flip over and anchor it again to my braid. So let's see if we can get a better look on this side. So right here where my anchor braid is, I'm just going to go through the weft and through my braid. And then I'm not going to go through it again, but I'm going to go underneath. Make sure it's in between both pieces of thread. And pull that tight. And now that I'm going to flip over, let me put this up here. So I'm going to flip the track over, and you see this part that's folded. I'm gonna stick the needle through there and anchor it to my braid. And I kind of like to try to, when I'm anchoring it to the braid, go on this top side of the braid so it'll cover all of that braid and you won't see it. So if I do it back here, then you'll see my braid. So you want to, whenever you're flipping and anchoring it, you want to go on the top side of the braid so that you can hide that braid. So I'm flipping, I'm taking it through, and it's easier if you place it where you want it, so that way, the track where you want it, so that way whenever you go through your wefts, it'll already be there and hiding what you want it to hide. Woo. Okay. So now I'm just going to continue to go underneath the weft. And if you feel like you need to, just do another little anchor piece to make sure it's laying as flat as possible. Because we didn't leave any hair out, so we're not going to be able to hide no humps and bumps. Ugh, I keep stabbing myself with this needle. Jesus Christ. So for spacing, I'm not putting them super close together, just because this hair is really big right now and I'm probably not gonna wet it too much. So I'm typically, when I'm even doing a sew-in, I like to space them out in the back a little bit, maybe a half an inch, just depending on how many bundles I have, how many bundles I want to fit, how full I want it to look. Of course, you have to go by the size of your head. So if your head is small, you're going to have to put the tracks closer together. If you want a really full look or a natural look, then you can space them out a little bit. But for this, I just want something back here, okay? It ain't even got to be perfect. It's kind of big right now, so you see how it's sitting kind of big. Of course, if I don't put enough tracks, it's gonna look real thin when I wet it, but I'm probably not gonna like wet it like that. And it dries big, so even when if I wet it, it'll still dry kind of big. So in towards the bottom, I like to space it out like maybe a half an inch to probably a half an inch. I will go a half an inch. And then once I get closer to the top, I'll put them a little bit closer together. But again, it all depends on what kind of style you're going for, the thickness you're going for. But yeah, if this is your first time doing a sew-in, I'm just trying to be as detailed as possible as I go through what I'm doing. I know it sucks because I'm not really showing you, but I'll try to show you as much as I can. So again, ouch, underneath. If we have more questions on how I'm doing the sew-in part, I will try and do a sew-in on like my sister or somebody. That way I can show you exactly how I'm sewing the hair in. Because we just did a half up, half down on her, and it was super cute. So we see how on this side, I didn't fold it over close enough to the top of the braid. So now you can kind of see the braid. So this time when I take it, when I wrap it, I'm going to wrap this closer to my part. That way you can't see the braid underneath. And even with this part, I can anchor it on the top side of the braid so that when I flip it, it'll already be there, if that makes sense. But if you know me, you know I don't care about no braid showing. It is what it is, boo-boo. You know this ain't my hair. If I poke myself with this needle one more time. Oh, it looks like I can make it one more round. So I just took a clip and anchored this side to my head so that I won't have to hold the track in place and it won't fall and it'll just be laying where I need it to lay. But also be careful because the two tracks, you got to kind of keep track of them, and the back one could slip if you're not paying attention and holding it. Ooh. So because I don't want to cut this, I'm going to just flip this little piece over. Ugh, I hate flipping little pieces over, but it is what it is. So of course, when I get to the end of the track, I'm going to go through the weft again, just to anchor it down so it's not like flapping up in the middle of my head whenever I connect the other piece. If my thread was long enough, I would put it through, attach it to the braid or the net, and then put the other piece of the weft that I'm going to add it to this one. And then so they'll stay attached so that they're not like one end is flapping in the middle of my head and it come loose. But my thread's not long enough, so I'm not going to do that. Let's see how I see it. I'm almost to the top. So I'm gonna just put the rest of this track in and then I'll be back to finish the top. So now that I'm at the very top of my braid down, I'm going to flip this last piece of track over, and while I'm sewing, I'm going to go on top this way of the track, so that way I can sew the track on top of the braid, not on top of the braid but on the far side of the braid, and it'll hide the braid completely. And then I'm going to take some of this hair and pull it out. I'll show you in a second, to hide the track altogether since we didn't leave any hair out. So let me see if I can get a good angle on doing this for y'all. Ooh. Okay, so I anchored my fold down first. Then I'm going to go on top of this track and braid and just secure that down. And then again, just going from the top of the track and the braid. Be careful not to get too much hair caught up because it'll get tangled up in the thread like I just did. But I think you get the picture. So we're just gonna go on top of the braid and of the weft. All right, so now that that's done, we gonna get into our braid pattern. I think I want it. So I think I'm gonna do like these this way and these this way. And I low-key don't think I'm gonna do a lot of them because I don't feel like it. I kind of just want to do two. Maybe six. So the edge control I'm using is this braid boost. They have a lot of different kinds. I just like this because it doesn't leave it flaky. I use it on my kids' hair when I'm like braiding or twisting their hair. It's not like a super grand hold, but it does what it's supposed to do. Okay, I'm typically not a baby hair girl, but look at it's just like it's breaking off. I said I'm gonna start taking my hair, so I need to do a better job of doing that. But I end up having to take off work to take care of my hair, which is insane to even say, for real. So I'm not gonna add hair in here. I'll probably add it once I get done braiding the scalp, because adding hair on myself is just a lot, and I ain't got time for that. Of course, I'm just gonna use whatever braiding hair I got in here, which is some little kid braiding hair. So now I'm done with the braids, and I want to do it different and curl the ends. Typically I see them straight, but let's try something new. Okay, so right here is not as full as I want it to be, so I might, because I want it to come up here and like be puffy right here. So I'm probably gonna glue some tracks in them through. Well, let me go see what I got left. I'm gonna have glue on my hair, but that's the sacrifice I gotta make because it ain't looking how I wanted it to look. I should have came up higher on my braid down. But here we are, so we just gotta fix it. It's fine. After I just said I've been working out and don't want it slipping out my head. Lord have mercy.
Okay, so got my Vaseline. It's not safe. These ears from Tarot ain't hold. It didn't hold. So I'm gonna spray my edges down with the Vaseline and then tie it down. And then I'm probably gonna wave a little bit.
I'm so sad, y'all, because later I have to go work out. So I just did all my hair for me to have to go work out. But and this is the final look. I'm really happy with how it turned out. At first, I was like, I don't know. But once I laid everything down and put the tracks up here, that's the only thing I would change is braiding further up my head, which initially I thought I was going to do, but I don't know why I didn't end up doing it. Whatever. But I will definitely braid further up. Put more tracks further up so that the tracks can lay how I want it to and higher up. But overall, I love it. I did end up, you guys saw, I curled the ends because I didn't want them to be straight. But yeah, she's cute. I like how she turned out. Tell me what you think in the comments and let me know what other hairstyles you would like to see or if there's anything else you'd like to see from me. Let me know. See y'all in the next one.